Hello class, today we're going over lesson 4.4, how to expand expressions. So 4.4 has a lot to do with the distributive property, and I'm sure you guys have heard this before in 4th and 5th grade, but let's review it now. So the distributive property says that A times B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. Now, it's really kind of simple what this means, but let's just show it all together. So basically what we're doing is we are distributing this number on the outside of the parentheses to everything on the inside, and we're multiplying them together here. So let's look at this first example. So we have 10 times 5 plus 2. So this is equal to 10 times 5 plus 10 times 2, and I wrote that in for you parentheses here. And then we solve those both on our own, and we get our final answer here of 70 on the other side. Now with variables, it can be a little bit different, right? Because variables stick to something like a coefficient would. So our x will be distributed to this 5, and it will also be distributed to this 3. So we get 5x plus 3x, and then we're going to combine like terms and get 8x. Now, we could also distribute variables to other variables, right? So here we have an x times 2 plus y. So we'll distribute the x to the 2, and we'll distribute the x to the y. So we get 2x plus xy, and that's how we distribute that. All right, so now we want to simplify this expression in two ways. All right, so the first way I'm going to do it is just distributing everything as it goes. So we have a negative 1/3 times 2 plus 3x plus 3, 2 minus 3x. All right, so I'm going to distribute this 1/3 to everything in parentheses here. So I'll draw my little arrows to show where I'm going. So I have a negative 1/3 times 2 plus negative 1/3 times 3x plus negative 1/3 times 3. So negative 1/3 times 2 is negative 2/3. Negative 1/3 times 3x would be a negative x. These 3's will cancel. And then negative 1/3 times 3 would just be a negative 1. And then we want to simplify here again. So negative 2/3 plus negative 1 plus negative x would be equal to negative 1 2/3 minus x. That's our final answer here. All right, but how else can we do that? Well, we can simplify what we have in the parentheses first, right? 2 minus 3x plus 3. So we can combine the like terms we have in the parentheses, like our 2 and our 3. We could get negative 1/3 times negative 3x plus 5. And then we would distribute our negative 1/3, of course. Negative 1/3 times negative 3x. Negative 1/3 times 5. All right, so negative 1/3 times 3x would give us a positive x. And then negative 1/3 times 5 would give us negative 5/3, or 1 2/3 negative. All right, so if we look back here to the other side, it's pretty clear I messed up somewhere, right? So when we're distributing our negative 1/3 and our times our 3x right here, I dropped the negative sign actually, so this should have been a positive value right here. This would be a positive x. Go back and fix that. I dropped my negative sign there. Sorry, guys. So negative 1/3 times negative 3x would actually be equal to a positive x. So we can see here that these are are both the same answers, right? We get an x plus negative 1 2/3 in both situations. So it doesn't matter whether you simplify what's in the parentheses first or after you distribute, but it might make it easier to do it before you distribute. All right, so now we want to expand this expression. X times 4 minus 3.4y. Let's draw out where we're going. This x is going to be multiplied times this 4, and this x is going to be multiplied times this 3.4y. So we get 4 times x plus negative 3.4y times x. So this would give us 4x plus negative 3.4xy. This would be our answer here. So very simple. We're just distributing that x to everything on the inside of the parentheses. We don't have any like terms that we can combine here because while they both share an x, this one has a y that this one doesn't have, so we can't combine those. All right, next we want to expand this expression. So y times 0.5 plus 8. Again, let's draw our magic arrows to see where we're going this. We're going to multiply the y times the 0.5, and we're going to multiply the y times the 8. So we should get y times 0.5 plus y times 8. If we want to rewrite that, that would be a 0.5y plus an 8y, which would give us 8.5y. All right, hopefully people are seeing we could do this in a different way, right? So we could also do it by adding together our 0.5 and our 8 on the inside. So we have y times 0.5 plus 8, which is equal to y times 8.5, which is equal to 8.5y. So same thing between the both of these, right? We just have multiple methods of getting there. All right, so expand this expression. 8 times 6x minus 4. All right, let's do those magic arrows again. So we're going to do an 8 times a 6x, and do an 8 times a negative 4. Let's make sure to group them up. 8 times 6x plus 8 times negative 4. All right, 8 times 6, 48x, plus 8 times negative 4, negative 32. So we get 48x minus 32 is our final answer here. All right, finally, the last question here. So this just wants us to solve, right? And it gave us a picture. Well, let's look at what we got here. I'm going to assume that it wants us to find the area. Wants us to find the area inside the circle. Let's also find the perimeter too. So we want to find the area and we want to find the perimeter. So let's start with the area. All right, so what's side length 1? Side length 1 here is 5 meters, right? Now what's side length 2? This is the one that's a little bit trickier. So side length 2, we have this 8 meters right here, but we also have this little x on the end, right? So this is going to be 8 meters plus x meters because we don't actually know what that x is. So how do we find the area inside a rectangle? Well, we multiply the length times the width, right? So here our length is x plus, oops, let me change my color here. Here our length is x plus 8, and our width is 5. So let's distribute this inside. So I would get a 5x plus 8 times 5 would be 40. So our area would be 5x plus 40. All right. Now how do we find the perimeter? With the perimeter, we add all 4 sides together, right? So assuming that this is a rectangle here, that means this side length is also x, this is also 8, and this is also 5. So we would have an x plus 8 plus 5 plus 8 plus x plus 5. So we'll group all this together here. We'll combine our like terms. We have an x plus x, and then we have an 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5. All right, so x plus x is going to give us 2x, and 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5 would give us a 26. So we have a 2x plus 26 is equal to our perimeter. All right, so in conclusion here, we learned about the distributive property, right? Hopefully it was just a little refresher for us, but if not, then we know about it for the future. We also learned about combining like terms and then using the distributive property to expand our expressions. Alrighty, guys, I hope you're able to make sense of all this. If not, make sure to ask questions in class about it tomorrow. I will see you all then and have a great rest of your day. Bye, everyone.